Allie with Potomac Beads. Join me in making this Bazaar bracelet. If you need any help or any materials, make sure to check out the links below to shop with us online. Gather up your materials and let's get started. So to use this design, I am using some waxed linen cording. You can use a number of different kinds of thread. I like the waxed linen cording because with that waxy finish, it works really well and is helpful to be able to get beads through the thread that actually don't have that big of a hole. We're going to be starting out with a pair of scissors. You want to cut 2 pieces of 40 inches of your cord. I've doubled them over to 2 sides basically of 20 inches and tied just an overhand knot. My loop is the size of the flower vortex button, so it can fit through there at the end when I attach it to the opposite side. Once you have your loop there and your knot tied, you're going to want to separate 2 strands of your wax linen to one side and 2 strands to the other side. To do so then, what we are going to do is grab the first bead, which is going to be a 3x4 millimeter cylinder bead, and this one's pewter. And then I also have some 2O seed beads that I'll be working with. The 2O seed beads are larger if you're not used to working with them, but they're going to accommodate 4 strands of my wax linen cording, which is why I've chosen them to work with. So to get started with the design then, you're taking all 4 strands and you're going to put one of your 2O seed beads over top of all 4 strands. Then you want to establish 2 strands in the middle, 1 strand on the right and 1 strand on the left. Go in and take that strand on the right and the strand on the left, and we're going to do a macrame knot. We're going to take the strand on the right and we're going to go over the middle 2 cords. The strand on the left is going to go over that right hand strand. You're going to take that left strand underneath all of those cords and bring it out through the middle of the loop that you created on the right hand side. This is a simple macrame knot. Go ahead and push that up towards that 2 millimeter bead, and we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. With the left hand knot cord, you're going to go over top of the 2 middle. The right cord is going to go over top of that left cord, tuck underneath all 3 and through the middle of that left loop that was created. Go ahead and push that up towards the previous knot. Now go ahead and grab one more 2 and put it on the right side, and one more 2 in that magic purple and put it on the left side. From here, go in and repeat those 2 macrame knots. I'm going to make the loop on my right hand side. Left is going to go over that right hand cord, underneath behind the 2 center cords, and through the middle of that right loop. Go ahead and push that up against, and those beads will just hang out there along the side. Do the same thing now. The left cord goes over top of the 2 middle strands. The right cord goes over top of the left cord and then tucks behind those 2 middle strands and out through that left loop. Go ahead and push that up towards the previous knot and kind of move your 2s to make sure they're sitting right on the side. To finish up our diamond, I'm going to take all the strands now, bring them back together, and put another 2 millimeter on all 4 strands. After you have that bead on over all 4 strands, you're going to separate out again a strand to the right and a strand to the left and 2 strands down the middle. Go ahead and start with the right hand side and do your macrame knots where you make the loop on the right and then the left strand goes over the top and through that loop, having gone underneath the center strands. Then do the same thing on the left. Go over the top, underneath the cord, and through the center strands. Continue doing that, alternating sides. If you want a spiral design, you're going to go through the same side always. I'm going to go ahead and pull this tight. And you can change up this design however you want. Just keep that in mind. Go ahead and do the final one here. So I did 4 knots total, And as you do this, you want to, as much as possible, keep that center nice and flat. After doing so here, you're going to take those center strands, add another one of your 2/0 seed bead to the center 2. Now what we're going to do to get our design is you're going to take 2 of your tubes and put them on the right hand strand. You're going to take 2 of your tubes and put them on the left hand strand. Now there are more options other than the tubes. The reason that I'm using these cylinder beads is because I like how they're going to frame out the 2/0 seed bead. From here we're going to start with the right hand side and we're going to do 4 more macrame knots. Taking this strand, making a loop on the right hand side, left goes over the top of that and through the middle of that. As you're pulling this tight, you want to make sure that your tubes stay to the side to frame out and create that little diamond. I'm going to repeat this again with a total of 4 knots. Here's knot number 2. And you always want to do even knots. There's knot number 3 starting, so that way the project lays nice and flat. And then I have 1 more to go. After I'm done that last knot, I'm going to proceed again just like we did at the start, putting on 1 bead over all 4 strands, doing 2 knots, separating them out, 2 more knots, and then 1 bead over 4. Continue this whole pattern the length of the anklet or bracelet, whichever one you're designing. And then after we're done this fun pattern, we'll go ahead and put on our clasp, which is going to be our button. Once you have your design established and your last bead is going on, you can finish at any point. And another cute idea is that you can take the tubes and actually put them over the 2 middle beads as well. When you're coming out the last portion of your design, you're going to get ready to add your button. What I'm going to do prior to that is take all of my strands and just do a nice little overhand knot. Give a nice tight pull to finish off your design. Your button is going to go through the back shank all of those cords. After you get through all of those cords, push your button up towards that knot. After the button, go ahead and knot all the strands together again and push that right next to your button in the back. From here, you're going to separate out your strands to make a little bit of a fringe design. If you don't want to, you do not have to do this. You can do this with any extra tubes you may have or any extra 2mm. I'm going to take my tube and put it on one of my strands. Let it hang down just a little bit there and simply tie an overhand knot. Give a really nice tight pull once, and then you're going to tie a second one so the tube does not slip over. Go ahead and just take a scissors, cut that off. Same thing over here, you can do a 2mm, you can do another tube. It's just a little bit of fringe. I'm going to go in here. I did a 2mm, same deal here. I'm going to need 1 knot pulled really tightly and then another knot pulled really tightly. And you can do this with all the different strands if you want to. You don't have to, it's really up to you. Just a difference in design. Once you know that's going to stop the bead from falling off, go ahead and cut off the extra cord. So there I have 2. If I want to, I can cut those off. I'm going to continue add 1 more of my tubes and 1 more of my 2mm beads to finish off my design. If you do not like the look of the fringe at the end, you do not have to use the fringe at the end. You can go ahead and just cut off the cord right after the knot behind the button, leaving a little bit of space. And if you don't add the fringe, I would recommend a drop of glue onto the knot. I'm doing these at varying lengths also. And you can see just very easy overhand knots. After I cut down the end of my cord, my bracelet is completed. Now, one thing to keep in mind as you're building the bracelet, if you notice that one strand is getting shorter than the other, when you come back together and you put all the strands through that 2mm bead, keep in mind that you want to keep the shortest strands to the middle and the longer strands to the right or the left. Once you're done your project, then you have that nice little kind of floral look. You can go in, take your button through the loop, and clasp your design. Thanks so much for joining me in making this fun bazaar bracelet. Remember, if you do need any materials, definitely check out the links below the video to shop at PotomacBeads.com as well as PotomacBeads.eu. Also remember to hit that little subscribe button in the corner if you haven't already. That way you get regular updates from us here at Potomac Beads. Also, if you want to, share the video, comment below, say any design ideas that you have, any differences that you may use, and different design ideas to help build up this beading community. As always, thank you so much for watching and enjoy your macrame design bazaar bracelet.